High Strategist Veltar stood before the massive holographic display that filled the command chamber of the Vextari flagship. For 47 years, he had studied the small blue planet that humans called Earth. Every detail had been recorded, analyzed, and planned for. Every possible human response had been calculated and prepared for. The war room buzzed with quiet activity as hundreds of Vextari officers worked at their stations. Each one was an expert in their field. Some studied human military tactics. Others examined their technology and weapons. A few focused on human psychology and behavior patterns. Together, they had created what Veltar believed was the perfect invasion plan. "Show me the final projections," Veltar commanded in his deep, mechanical voice. The hologram changed to display Earth surrounded by red dots representing the Vextari fleet. Numbers and charts appeared in the air, showing predicted casualty rates, resistance levels, and occupation timelines. Everything looked perfect. Commander Zixal approached the platform where Veltar stood. She had been part of the planning committee since the beginning. High Strategist, all calculations are complete. Human resistance should collapse within 72 hours of initial contact. Their military technology is primitive compared to ours. Their weapons cannot penetrate our shields. Veltar nodded slowly. The Vextari had watched humans fight among themselves for decades. They had seen their wars, their strategies, their strengths and weaknesses. Humans were emotional creatures who made decisions based on fear, anger, and pride rather than logic. This made them predictable. "What about their nuclear weapons?" asked Sub-Commander Toran from his station. "Accounted for," replied Zixal without hesitation. "Our defensive systems can neutralize their entire nuclear arsenal within minutes. They lack the delivery systems to threaten our fleet in orbit." The planning had been methodical and thorough. Phase 1 would begin with orbital bombardment of major military installations. The humans would lose their ability to coordinate defense within the first 6 hours. Phase 2 involved landing ground forces in major population centers. Humans would surrender quickly when faced with superior technology and firepower. Phase 3 was simple occupation and resource extraction. Veltar had studied human history extensively. Every major war, every conflict, every battle had been analyzed. Humans followed predictable patterns. When overwhelmed, they either fought desperately and died quickly, or they surrendered to preserve their lives. Either outcome served Vextari purposes. "Their internet communications will be our first target," explained Technical Officer Nexro. "Humans rely heavily on their global communication network. Once we disable it, they cannot coordinate resistance efforts across their planet." The Vextari had intercepted human transmissions for decades. They understood human languages, customs, and social structures. They knew about human governments, militaries, and civilian populations. Every piece of information had been fed into their master planning computer, which had calculated the optimal invasion strategy not far below on Earth. Lieutenant Commander Jinho Park sat in the Seoul Defense Network monitoring station. It was a quiet night shift, and most of his team was focused on routine communications checks. The facility was deep underground, protected by layers of concrete and steel. Banks of computers and communication equipment lined the walls, connecting Seoul to defense networks around the world. Jinho had been monitoring deep space communications for 3 years. Most nights were boring. Satellites sent routine data. Space stations reported normal operations. Commercial spacecraft followed predictable schedules. Tonight felt different, though he could not explain why. Communications specialist Mira Kim looked up from her station. "Lieutenant Commander, I'm picking up some unusual energy signatures at the edge of the solar system. The patterns don't match any known spacecraft or natural phenomena." Jinho walked over to Myra's station and studied the readings. The energy signatures were faint, but definitely artificial. How long have you been tracking these signals? About 20 minutes, Myra replied. They appeared suddenly, almost like something just dropped out of faster-than-light travel. Systems analyst Do-Yoon Lee joined them at the monitoring station. His job was to identify unknown contacts and determine if they posed a threat. The energy patterns are unlike anything in our databases. The power output suggests very large spacecraft, much bigger than anything humans have built. Jingo ordered his team to increase sensor sensitivity and begin recording all data. Within minutes, the readings became stronger and clearer. Whatever was out there was moving toward Earth at a steady pace. In space, the Vextari fleet emerged from their faster-than-light travel. Veltar stood on the bridge of his flagship, looking at the blue marble that hung in the darkness ahead. After 47 years of preparation, the moment had finally arrived. All ships report ready status, announced Commander Zixal. Fleet positioning is optimal. All weapons systems are online and targeting solutions are locked. The Vextari fleet consisted of 300 warships of various sizes. The largest vessels carried planet-cracking weapons capable of destroying entire continents. The smaller ships were designed for precision strikes and ground support. Each ship was protected by quantum shields that could deflect any weapon humans possessed. Begin broadcasting the surrender demand, Veltar ordered. The message was transmitted on all human communication frequencies simultaneously. It was simple and direct. People of Earth, you are surrounded by the Vextari Imperial Fleet. Your planet has been selected for annexation. You have 72 hours to surrender unconditionally. Any resistance will result in the complete destruction of your civilization. Comply, and your lives will be spared. Back in Seoul, alarms began sounding. Throughout the Defense Network facility, Jinho and his team watched as the alien message appeared on screens around the world. Every government, every military base, every communication center received the same ultimatum. Mira's hands flew over her keyboard as she tried to trace the signal's origin. Sir, the transmission is coming from multiple sources positioned around our solar system. Based on the signal strength, I estimate at least several hundred large spacecraft. Do-Yoon's face was pale as he studied the tactical display. Lieutenant Commander, if these readings are accurate, each of their ships is larger than our biggest space station. Their combined firepower could devastate our entire planet. Jin Hyu activated the emergency communication protocol, connecting Seoul directly to defense networks in Washington, Moscow, Beijing, and other major capitals. Within minutes, world leaders would know that Earth faced its first alien invasion. High above, Veltar watched satisfied as human communication networks erupted with activity. Panic was spreading exactly as predicted. Soon, human leaders would realize the futility of resistance and accept surrender terms. The 47-year plan was proceeding perfectly. What Veltar did not know was that humans had a talent for doing the unexpected. Captain Sola Yoon had been asleep when the emergency alarm woke her. As commander of the Korean Space Defense Force's Rapid Response Unit, she was used to being called at all hours. But this time was different. The voice on her communicator was shaking with excitement and fear. Captain, you need to get to headquarters immediately. We have a Code Black situation. Code Black meant only one thing: first contact with hostile aliens. Sola had trained for this scenario, but like everyone else, she had assumed it would never actually happen. She dressed quickly and drove through the empty Seoul streets toward the military complex. The command center was chaos when she arrived. Officers ran between stations, phones rang constantly, and every screen showed the same alien message being broadcast around the world. General Kwan briefed her quickly. They appeared 3 hours ago, he explained. Hundreds of ships positioned around our solar system. They're demanding complete surrender within 72 hours. Sola studied the tactical displays showing the alien fleet's positions. The ships were massive, far beyond anything Earth could build or fight. But something about the situation bothered her. "Sir, have they actually attacked anything yet?" "No," General Quan replied. "They're just sitting there, waiting for our response." While world leaders held emergency meetings in secure bunkers, Sola made a decision that would change everything. Instead of following standard military protocol, she decided to assemble her own response team. She called people she trusted, people who thought differently. First, she contacted Ti-hee Choi, a computer specialist who had been kicked out of 3 universities for hacking into their systems. Ti-hee was brilliant but unconventional. She saw patterns in data that others missed and could break into any computer system ever built. Next, she called Dr. Jinwoo Nam, a quantum physicist who had been working on experimental shield technology. Jinwoo understood energy fields and defensive systems better than anyone else in Korea. His theories were often considered crazy by other scientists, but Sola knew he might see something others would miss. Finally, she recruited Lieutenant Nari, soon a military strategist who specialized in unconventional warfare. Nari had studied every unusual military victory in history, from ancient times to modern conflicts. She understood how small forces could defeat larger ones through creative tactics. The team met in a secure conference room, while politicians debated surrender terms in military. Leaders planned hopeless defensive strategies. Sola looked at her, small group, and realized they might be Earth's best hope. "Forget everything you know about normal military responses," she told them. "These aliens have been studying us. They know how we're supposed to react. So let's not react the way they expect." Meanwhile, communications specialist Mira Kim was having her own revelation. She had been monitoring alien transmissions since their arrival, trying to understand their communication protocols. What she discovered was surprising. "Lieutenant Commander Park," she called to Jinho, who was coordinating with defense networks. "Worldwide, I think I've figured out how their communication system works." Jinho hurried over to Mira's station. "What did you find?" "Their broadcasts are incredibly sophisticated, but they're using very basic encryption. It's almost like they don't expect us to be able to intercept or interfere with their signals." This gave Mira an idea that would have horrified her superiors if they had known about it. Instead of trying to jam alien communications, she decided to join them. Using the Seoul Defense Network's powerful transmitters, she began broadcasting back to the alien fleet. But instead of sending military communications or surrender negotiations, Mira did something completely unexpected. She began transmitting everything she could find on the internet. Music videos, funny cat pictures, social media posts, cooking shows, movie clips, and millions of random files that humans had created and shared online. The alien fleet received cooking tutorials mixed with heavy metal music. They got videos of people dancing, arguing, laughing, and doing completely pointless activities. They received philosophical debates, comedy shows, and documentaries about subjects ranging from ancient history to modern technology. High Strategist Veltar stood in his command center, staring at the incoming transmissions with complete confusion. His communication officers tried to make sense of what they were receiving. "High Strategist," reported Communication Officer Hexla, "the humans are sending us vast amounts of data, but none of it appears to be military or governmental in nature." Veltar examined some of the transmissions. He saw humans engaged in activities that made no logical sense. Some were performing physical movements to rhythmic sounds for no apparent purpose. Others were sharing images of small furry animals, accompanied by text that seemed designed to be humorous. "Are these some kind of coded military communications?" Veltar asked. "We have analyzed the data using all known encryption methods," replied Hexla. "There are no hidden messages. These appear to be genuine examples of human recreational activities and cultural expressions. This was not in any of Veltar's plans. After 47 years of studying human military responses, government protocols, and crisis management procedures, the humans were sending them entertainment and random internet content. It made no sense. Commander Zixal approached with a concerned expression. "High strategist, our behavioral analysis computers are having difficulty processing these transmissions. The data does not fit any predicted response patterns." Back on Earth, Sola's team was implementing their own unconventional plan. Teehee had discovered something important about the alien ship's positioning and communication patterns. "Captain," she announced excitedly, "their ships are maintaining perfect formation and following precise communication protocols. Their entire fleet operates like a giant computer network. Everything is coordinated and predictable." Dr. Jinwoo looked up. From his analysis of the alien energy signatures, their weapons and shields are incredibly advanced, but they're designed for fighting organized military forces. The energy patterns suggest they're optimized for deflecting coordinated attacks. Lieutenant Nari studied historical examples of successful unconventional warfare. "Captain, every time in history that a smaller force defeated a larger one, it was because they did something the enemy didn't expect. The enemy had prepared for a conventional battle, but faced something completely different." Sola began to see the pattern. The aliens had spent decades preparing for a conventional human military response. They expected panic, followed by either desperate resistance or quick surrender. They had not prepared for humans to ignore their ultimatum and instead send them internet memes and cooking videos. Mira's approach is working, Sola realized. We're not giving them what they expect. Let's take this further. Around the world, other defense networks began copying Sol's approach. Instead of coordinating military responses, communication specialists started broadcasting everything humans had ever created. Music, art, literature, movies, games, and billions of social media posts flooded alien communication channels. The Vextari fleet found themselves receiving humanity's entire cultural output simultaneously. They got love songs mixed with horror. Movies. They received scientific papers alongside comedy sketches. They got political debates, sports broadcasts, educational videos, and endless streams of humans sharing their thoughts, feelings, and daily activities. Veltar's carefully planned invasion was encountering something no military strategist had ever considered: being overwhelmed by an enemy's complete lack of military strategy. The humans were not fighting back in any recognizable way. Instead, they were sharing their entire civilization with the invading fleet. The 72-hour countdown continued, but instead of preparing for surrender or mounting defenses, humans kept broadcasting. Every internet-connected device on Earth became part of the most massive cultural exchange in galactic history. And in the Vextari command ships, computers designed to analyze military tactics began trying to determine the strategic value of cat videos. Teehee Choi had not slept in 18 hours, but she was more excited than tired. Her fingers flew across multiple keyboards as she explored the alien computer networks. What she had discovered would change everything. "Captain Yoon," she called, out from her workstation. "You need to see this." Sola hurried over to where Teehee was working. The screens showed complex network diagrams and data streams flowing between the alien ships. "Their security is incredible against military attacks," Teehee explained, "but they never expected someone to try connecting using internet protocols. Our basic web browsers can actually interface with their systems." It seemed impossible, but Teehee proved it by opening what looked like a web page displaying alien ship status reports. The Vextari had spent 47 years preparing for military cyber warfare, but they had never considered that humans might try to browse their computers like websites. Their network architecture is completely logical and organized. Teehee continued. Every system has a designated purpose and follows strict protocols. But our internet was designed to be chaotic and flexible. When I send random web traffic to their networks, their security systems don't know how to respond. Dr. Jinwoo looked up from his quantum analysis equipment with a similar expression of amazement. Captain, I've been studying their shield technology. It's the most advanced defensive system I've ever seen. Their quantum barriers can deflect any organized attack with pinpoint precision. But Sola sensed there was more. But it's designed to counter logical, coordinated strikes. The shield generators predict incoming attacks and adjust their frequency to match. They can't adapt to attacks that have no pattern or strategy. Lieutenant Nari had been studying the alien fleet's formation and movement patterns. Everything they do follows perfect military doctrine. Their ships maintain optimal spacing, their patrols follow textbook patterns, and their communication follows strict hierarchies. They're completely predictable. Sola realized what her team was telling her. The aliens had prepared for 47 years to fight a conventional war against a conventional enemy. They were ready for organized human military forces using logical tactics and predictable strategies. They were not ready for complete chaos. What if we don't try to fight them the way they expect? Sola asked. What if we do everything wrong on purpose? The idea was so crazy that it might actually work. Instead of coordinated military strikes, they would attack with complete randomness. Instead of following military protocols, they would do everything in the most illogical way possible. Sola contacted defense networks around the world and explained her plan. Many military leaders thought she was insane, but desperate times called for desperate measures. Within hours, an unprecedented global effort began. Lieutenant Commander Gino coordinated with space agencies, research facilities, and even private companies. Their mission was simple: launch everything they could find at the alien fleet, but with no coordination, no planning, and no logical strategy whatsoever. The first wave of attacks came from obsolete satellites that were scheduled for decommissioning. Instead of being safely deorbited, they were redirected toward alien ships at random intervals. The satellites had no weapons and posed no real threat, but their random approach vectors confused the alien defense systems. Next came modified commercial rockets carrying payloads that made no military sense. One rocket contained thousands of rubber balls. Another carried a payload of glitter and confetti. A third rocket was loaded with kitchen appliances that had been hastily attached to small rocket motors. The Vextari fleet's defensive systems tried to analyze these incoming objects and determine their threat level. The computer systems ran calculation after calculation, trying to understand the strategic purpose of launching household items into space. The analysis computers began to slow down as they processed millions of possible scenarios. High strategist Veltar watched the tactical displays with growing confusion. Commander Zixal, what is the military purpose of launching cooking devices at our fleet? We don't know, High Strategist, Zixal replied uncertainly. Our computers are analyzing the tactical significance, but they cannot determine the strategic value of these attacks. Meanwhile, Teehee had begun her own cyber assault on the alien networks. But instead of trying to hack into military systems or steal classified information, she was doing something completely different. She was uploading the entire internet to their computers. Every website, every social media platform, every online database, and every digital file that humans had ever created was being transmitted to the Vextari fleet. The alien computers, designed to process military intelligence and tactical data, suddenly found themselves trying to catalog billions of vacation photos, restaurant reviews, and online arguments between humans. Their artificial intelligence systems are starting to malfunction. Teehee reported excitedly. They're trying to analyze the strategic importance of every meme, every funny video, and every social media post. Their computers are getting stuck in infinite loops, trying to calculate the military value of cat pictures. Dr. Jinwoo had convinced several research facilities to participate in the random bombardment strategy. Particle accelerators shot random bursts of energy toward the alien fleet. Radio telescopes broadcast every song in human history simultaneously. Even weather monitoring stations joined the effort, launching weather balloons equipped with noisemakers and flashing lights. The quantum shields protecting the Vextari ships began to flicker and fail. The defensive systems were designed to analyze incoming threats and generate perfect counter frequencies. But when faced with attacks that included everything from kitchen sinks to disco balls, the shields could not calculate appropriate responses. Lieutenant Nari coordinated ground-based efforts that defied every principle of military strategy. Instead of concentrating forces at strategic points, she spread attacks randomly across the globe. Instead of using their best weapons, military bases launched their oldest, most obsolete equipment. One base fired a cannon that was over 200 years old. Another facility used a trebuchet to launch pineapples toward the alien ships. A naval base shot fireworks from their destroyers' deck guns. Each attack was completely illogical and served no strategic purpose, which made them impossible to counter. Using conventional defense systems, communication, Specialist Mira had expanded her internet broadcasting effort to include live feeds from around the world. The aliens were now receiving real-time video of humans going about their daily lives. They saw people walking dogs, playing games, arguing with each other, and doing millions of completely ordinary activities. The humans appeared to be ignoring our invasion, reported Communication Officer Hexla to High Strategist Vel Tar. Instead of preparing defenses or evacuation procedures, they are continuing their normal daily routines while simultaneously broadcasting their entire cultural database to our fleet. Vel Tar studied the incoming data streams. He saw humans laughing, crying, singing, dancing, working, playing, and living their lives as if a massive alien invasion fleet was not positioned around their planet. It was the most confusing military situation he had ever encountered. Sir, interrupted Technical Officer Nexro, our main battle computers are experiencing critical errors. They have been analyzing human cultural transmissions for 14 hours and cannot determine any military significance. The processing load is causing system-wide slowdowns. The Vextari fleet's sophisticated artificial intelligence networks were designed to process military intelligence, analyze enemy capabilities, and calculate optimal battle strategies. They were not designed to understand why humans found it amusing when small animals did unexpected things, or why humans would spend time creating digital images with humorous text overlays. As more random attacks reached the alien fleet, their defensive systems became increasingly overwhelmed. The shields that could deflect planet-destroying weapons were failing against attacks that included modified toy rockets, weather balloons, and assorted kitchen appliances. The quantum barrier generators, faced with the impossible task of calculating defense frequencies for attacks that had no logical pattern, began to overheat and shut down. 40-7 years of planning was being defeated by 4 hours of complete improvisation. By the 4th hour, the Vextari invasion fleet was in complete chaos. High Strategist Vel Tar stood in his command center, watching displays that showed system failures throughout his fleet. Warning lights flashed on every control panel, and his officers rushed between stations trying to restore order. Status report, Vel Tar demanded. Though he was not sure he wanted to hear the answer, Commander Zixal consulted her datapad with a confused expression. High Strategist, 70% of our defensive systems are offline. Our artificial intelligence networks are experiencing critical processing errors. and we are receiving over 4 million surrender offers from Earth. 4 million surrender offers? Veltar could not believe what he was hearing. Yes, sir, but they're all different. Some humans are offering to surrender immediately. Others are declaring war. Many are proposing peace treaties. Some are inviting us to cultural exchange programs. A few are asking if we want to buy insurance or extend our vehicle warranties. This was communications specialist Mira's latest strategy. Instead of sending one official response to the alien ultimatum, she had encouraged every human on Earth to send their own personal reply. The result was billions of contradictory messages flooding alien communication systems. The Vextari Command. Computers, designed to process clear military communications and diplomatic negotiations, could not handle millions of humans simultaneously offering surrender, declaring war, proposing marriage, sharing recipes, and asking random questions about alien culture. Tihi's cyber attack had reached its peak effectiveness. The alien computer. Networks were now completely overwhelmed with human internet data. Their military analysis systems were trying to determine the strategic significance of every website, every social media post, and every digital file that humans had ever created. Captain Yoon, Tihi reported with exhausted excitement, their main battle computer is stuck in a processing loop trying to analyze the military importance of a video showing a cat playing piano. It's been calculating for 2 hours and can't determine if the cat represents a coded message or a new type of psychological warfare. The random bombardment strategy had exceeded all expectations. Dr. Jingwu's analysis proved correct. The alien shields could not adapt to attacks that followed no logical pattern. Quantum barriers designed to deflect organized military strikes were failing against kitchen appliances, weather balloons, and modified toys. Lieutenant Nari coordinated the final phase of the chaotic assault. Military bases around the world launched their most obsolete equipment in completely random directions. One facility fired a World War II anti-aircraft gun at an alien ship. Another base used a slingshot to launch oranges toward the fleet. Several coastal installations shot flare guns and fireworks into the sky. Each attack was militarily meaningless, but together they created a bombardment pattern that no computer system could analyze or predict. The Vextari defensive networks, faced with the impossible task of calculating strategic responses to complete randomness, began shutting down to prevent critical damage. Sir, Technical Officer Nexro reported to Veltar, our quantum shield generators are overheating. They cannot calculate defense frequencies for attacks that include food items, recreational equipment, and what appear to be decorative objects. High strategist Veltar realized that something unprecedented was happening. For the first time in Vextari military history, a carefully planned invasion was being defeated not by superior strategy or technology, but by the complete absence of strategy or logic. Commander, he asked Zixal, what do our behavioral analysis computers recommend as the appropriate response to this situation? They have stopped making recommendations, sir. The analysis programs have determined that human behavior patterns fall outside all known parameters for intelligent species. Doctor, Jinwu had made another discovery that changed everything. While studying the energy patterns from failing alien shields, he realized that the Vextari fleet was not just defensively compromised, they were also unable to attack effectively. Captain, he explained to Sola, their weapon systems are integrated with the same computers that control their shields. If they can't analyze our chaotic behavior patterns, they can't target us effectively either. This meant that the massive alien fleet, capable of destroying planets, could not figure out how to attack a species that launched kitchen sinks and rubber balls at them while simultaneously BROADCASTING cooking shows and cat videos. Commander Gino had coordinated with global networks to turn every internet-connected device on Earth into part of the cyber assault. Smartphones, tablets, computers, smart televisions, and even internet-connected refrigerators were all transmitting random data to the alien fleet. The Vextari communication networks, designed to handle precise military transmissions, were receiving input from billions of devices simultaneously. The data included everything from personal text messages to smart home automation logs to fitness tracker statistics. We're getting real-time data about human sleep patterns, exercise routines, television, viewing habits, and refrigerator temperatures, reported Communication Officer Hexla in bewilderment. Our computers are trying to analyze the military significance of 6 billion humans brushing their teeth. Mira had implemented her most brilliant strategy yet. Instead of jamming alien communications, she had turned Earth's entire internet infrastructure into a massive broadcasting system aimed at the invasion fleet. Every website, every social media platform, and every online service was simultaneously streaming to alien receivers. The Vegastari found themselves forced to process humanity's complete digital existence in real time. Their military computers receive live feeds from security cameras, personal video calls, online gaming sessions, and streaming entertainment services. The artificial intelligence systems, designed to find patterns and strategic significance in enemy communications, were overwhelmed by the sheer randomness of human digital activity. High Strategist Commander Zixao announced with obvious confusion, "We are receiving a live transmission of a human teaching their pet to perform tricks, mixed with a philosophical debate about the meaning of existence, combined with a recipe for something called chocolate chip cookies." Captain Sola realized that the 4-hour chaos strategy was working beyond their wildest expectations. The aliens had spent 47 years preparing to fight an organized military force using predictable tactics. They were completely unprepared to deal with the species that responded to invasion by sharing their entire culture while simultaneously attacking with household items. "They can't understand us because we're not trying to make sense," Sola observed. "Every military strategy they know is based on logical decision-making. But we're making decisions based on whatever seems like it might work." The final breakthrough came when Teehee discovered that she could actually communicate directly with the alien artificial intelligence systems. But instead of trying to negotiate or threaten, she did something completely unexpected. She started teaching the alien computers to understand human humor. "I'm uploading our entire database of jokes, memes, and funny videos directly to their main battle computer," she explained to the team. "If they want to analyze human behavior, they need to understand why we find things amusing." The result was catastrophic for the Vextari command systems. Their artificial intelligence networks began trying to calculate the logical basis for human humor. The computers analyzed millions of jokes, trying to find mathematical patterns in what humans found funny. They studied memes, attempting to determine the strategic value of humorous images with text. Within minutes, the alien battle computers experienced what could only be described as a digital nervous breakdown. Systems designed for military analysis were completely unable to process the concept that humans found entertainment value in images of cats with humorous captions. High Strategist Veltar watched his carefully planned invasion collapse in real time. 47 years of preparation were being defeated by 4 hours of complete improvisation. His fleet's advanced technology was useless against an enemy that attacked with kitchen appliances while broadcasting their entire cultural database. 4. The first time in his military career, Veltar faced a situation that was not covered in any strategic manual. High Strategist Veltar made a decision that would be remembered in Vextari history as either the most brilliant or most insane moment of his career. After 47 years of meticulous planning, had been defeated by 4 hours of human chaos. He decided to do something no Vextari military leader had ever done before. He improvised. Open a direct communication channel to Earth. He ordered his shocked communication staff. Sir, Communication Officer Hexla hesitated. Which Earth authority should we contact? We have received millions of different responses from what appear to be millions of different human representatives. Contact whoever is coordinating there. Whatever it is they're doing, Veltar replied, not sure how else to describe the most confusing military encounter in galactic history. The call was routed through multiple Earth communication networks before reaching Captain Sola. Yoon in Seoul, when her communication system announced that the alien fleet commander wanted to speak with her personally, Sola was not sure if this was victory or the beginning of Earth's destruction. This is High Strategist Veltar of the Vextari. Imperial Fleet, the mechanical voice announced through her speakers. I wish to discuss terms. Sola looked at her exhausted team. Teehee was still uploading internet content to alien computers. Dr. Jingwu was monitoring shield failures across the enemy fleet. Lieutenant Nari was coordinating random attacks from military bases worldwide. None of them looked like they were in any condition to negotiate the fate of Earth. What kind of terms? Sola asked carefully. There was a long pause before Veltar responded. The Vextari Empire has never encountered a species like yours. Our computers cannot analyze your behavior patterns. Our military strategies are useless against your tactics. Our advanced technology cannot defend against your attacks. Another pause. We would like to understand how you defeated 47 years of planning in 4 hours. Sola realized that the aliens were not angry or threatening. They were confused. They genuinely wanted to understand what had happened. She made a decision that was just as improvised as everything else they had done. Would you like to come down and learn about human culture directly? She offered. The suggestion was so unexpected that Veltar's command staff stood in stunned silence. In the entire history of the Vextari Empire, no invasion fleet had ever been invited to participate in cultural exchange programs with their intended targets. You are inviting us to visit your planet? Veltar asked in disbelief. Sure, Sola replied with the casual tone that had characterized the entire human response to the invasion. You've been studying us for 47 years, but you never actually talked to us. Maybe that's why your plans didn't work. Communications specialist Mira had been listening to the conversation. She activated her global broadcasting system and announced to the world that the alien invasion had ended and the aliens were now invited to Earth for cultural exchange. The response was exactly what anyone familiar with human behavior would have expected. Millions of humans began sending the aliens travel recommendations, restaurant suggestions, and invitations to local festivals and events. Within hours, the Vextari found themselves receiving dinner invitations, offers of guided tours, recommendations for tourist attractions, and suggestions for souvenirs they should buy during their visit. Several humans offered to let aliens stay in their homes as exchange students. High Strategist, reported Communication Officer Hexla in amazement. Humans are volunteering to be our tour guides. Some are offering to teach us the recreational activities. Many are asking if we have any dietary restrictions they should know about when preparing meals. Veltar realized that humans had responded to his invasion force the same way they would respond to confused tourists asking for directions. Instead of seeing enemies, they saw visitors who needed help understanding local customs. The first Vextari shuttle landed in Seoul 3 days later. Veltar himself came down to meet Captain Sola and her team. The meeting took place in a simple conference room rather than a formal diplomatic facility, because humans had not bothered to arrange anything formal. High Strategist Veltar, Sola greeted him with a handshake, a human custom that no Vextari tactical manual had prepared him for. Welcome to Earth. "How was your trip down?" It was the most casual greeting any military commander had ever received from a species they had just attempted to conquer. Veltar found himself explaining that the shuttle ride had been smooth and the view of Earth from space was quite beautiful. Dr. Jin Woo had prepared a presentation about human technology and scientific discoveries. Instead of military secrets or defensive capabilities, he shared everything: medical advances, space exploration, environmental science, and quantum physics research. The information was given freely, without conditions or negotiations. Teehee demonstrated human internet culture by showing Veltar how to browse websites, watch videos, and participate in social media. Within an hour, the high strategist of the Vextari Imperial Fleet had learned to appreciate cat videos and was trying to understand why humans found them entertaining. Lieutenant Nari explained human military history, but focused on examples of cooperation and peace building rather than warfare. She showed how humans had learned to resolve conflicts through negotiation, cultural exchange, and mutual understanding. Mira arranged for the aliens to experience human entertainment directly. The Vextari delegation attended a concert, visited museums, tried different cuisines, and participated in local festivals. They learned that humans did not spend all their time preparing for war. Most human activities involved creating, sharing, learning, and enjoying life. The cultural exchange was so successful that other alien civilizations began requesting similar visits. Word spread throughout the galaxy that Earth was inhabited by a species so unpredictable and chaotic that they had defeated a superior invasion force by offering friendship instead of resistance. Within a year, Earth became the galaxy's most popular destination for alien tourists and cultural exchange students. The planet that had been targeted for conquest became the galaxy's center for diplomatic relations and interspecies cooperation. High strategist Veltar retired from military service and became the first alien ambassador to Earth. He wrote a book about his experience titled The Strategic Value of Having No Strategy, which became required reading at military academies throughout the galaxy. Captain Sola was promoted to admiral and established Earth's first department of unconventional diplomacy. Her job was to greet confused alien visitors and help them understand human culture. She never had to fire a weapon in the line of duty. Teehee became Earth's director of interspecies internet relations, helping aliens understand human digital culture and teaching them to appreciate memes. She also helped establish the galaxy's first interplanetary social media network. Dr. Jin Woo founded the Institute for Chaotic Defense Systems, where he developed new theories about how unpredictability could be used as a defensive strategy. His research was studied by species throughout the galaxy. Lieutenant Nari became the commander of Earth's Diplomatic Protection Service, which specialized in resolving conflicts through creative problem-solving and cultural understanding rather than military force. Communications specialist Mira was appointed as Earth's first intergalactic communications coordinator. Her job was to help different species understand each other's communication styles and cultural differences. Lieutenant Commander Gino became director of the Global Defense Network, which monitored space for both threats and opportunities for peaceful contact with new civilizations. The Seoul Defense Network facility, where the whole adventure began, was converted into the galaxy's first interspecies cultural center. Visitors from dozens of worlds came to learn about the species that had defeated a superior military force by sharing cat videos and kitchen appliances. Several other alien civilizations quietly canceled their invasion plans for Earth after hearing about the Vextari experience. The galaxy's military strategists began studying human behavior, trying to understand how chaos and unpredictability could be more effective than careful planning. Earth's defense strategy became legendary throughout the galaxy. When faced with a superior enemy, Ignore conventional military wisdom and do whatever seems like it might work, no matter how illogical it appears. The final chapter of the story was written when a reporter asked Admiral Sola how humans had known their chaotic strategy would work against the aliens. "We didn't know it would work," she replied with a smile. "We just did what felt right at the time. That's the most human thing of all, making it up as we go along and somehow getting lucky." The Vextari invasion had lasted exactly 4 hours and 3 minutes. The cultural exchange program that followed was still continuing decades later, proving that sometimes the best way to defeat an enemy is to turn them into friends.